Hello guys! So today marks the 1-year anniversary of my film, Silence. You heard that right. So, I'm gonna explain to you how the original script was supposed to go. You heard that right. The movie that you guys, or the short that you guys saw, wasn't the original way of the movie. The original way the movie was supposed to go. The movie was a little more graphic, a little more vulgar, and a little bit more well directed. I wrote the script somewhere around, I want to say April, so somewhere around this month, early April. And this is a film project this was for film and literature. I remember that clearly. My teacher hated me in that class. Nah, I'm just fine. I'm gonna go through a little bit of, I'm gonna read the script and then I'm gonna compare the scenes to the movie or the short, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna be comparing those. So this was how the original opening was supposed to go. Stu was walking up a hill with a cut on his lip and a bruised eye, and holding his hand while limping. Stu is heard whispering the song Hurt by Johnny Cash. Now, this was always supposed to be the song. This was always supposed to be him walking up a hill, which you guys saw in the short, and walks up to an alley. He stops and looks at his right and walking up to a bench that's on the alley. This is very poor written. To take a seat, looks up while continues singing. I can't read. And then he continues singing Hurt by Johnny Cash. Dissolved transition. Stu at school sitting in a bench, listening to Hurt by Johnny Cash with his headphones on full volume, with the sound being faintly heard. The original way that this was supposed to happen was the actor for Stu, aka my friend, he was supposed to sing the lyrics of Hurt by Johnny Cash, but instead we just did an opening of him sitting with his phone in the bench. But we filmed this movie in 4 hours, and I was the director and writer of the script, so it was basically my fault. Yeah, we just rushed this thing. My other friend, which was my other friend, aka the killer, he was supposed to leave somewhere around 5-ish, so that's how much time we had to film. We filmed from 2:40 to 5 or 6 p.m. Stu is outside his school, talking to a girl through his phone, with a smile and listening to music while wearing sloppy but casual outfit. Stu, voiceover. Wow, this girl is amazing. You know what? I'm gonna ask her if we could meet in person. One of Stu's friend goes behind him and scares him. My name in the movie is Tyler. We never addressed that. Baba Yaga grabs on Stu's shoulders. Stu jumps and turns around to see Tyler with a scared face. Stu, bro, you scared the crap out of me. Tyler looks and sees Stu's phone. So there was supposed to be a POV shot of me looking at the actors of Stu's phone. Bro, you really need to get off that app. It's only rotting your brain. No, I was supposed to touch Stu's head, which I did, I think. I think I grabbed his head or his shoulder, I can't remember. How do you know that that's even her? She could be a 300-pound dude who lives in her mama's basement in suburban Detroit. And her name is Chuck. Now, if you haven't seen Ready Player One, then this would obviously not, been heard. But I did take that line from Ready Player One, from this scene.
I'm serious. She could actually be a 300-pound dude who lives in his mama's basement in suburban Detroit. And her name is Chuck. Think about that.
So yeah, and then Stu was supposed to reply, well, you do have a point, but she could also be a hot girl with a cool birthmark on her face. Also, that's why I'm meeting with her in person. Now, like I said, this was completely last minute. I don't think he said that. I think he said, well, yeah, but what if she's hot? Yeah, like I said, we just went whatever he came up with. He said it. I asked him, what's your name? Jess. Alright, bro, I'm just looking out for you. Just be careful. And then Stu was supposed to say, I appreciate it, bro. We dab up. I can't remember if we did this. And I was supposed to get a message, and I would say, I gotta go, bro. Something's happened. Something's happened. And then I left. Stu puts his headphones back and starts to leave the school campus. Tyler is seen getting taken by a man out of the frame. Stu starts to smile, thinking of Jess. Dissolve transition to a now disappointed looking Stu. We didn't do that dissolve transition thing. I think we just like cut it straight to him, like on McDonald's. Stu was supposed to say, I knew this was bullcrap. Why would anyone want to go on a date with me? Camera is over his shoulder, facing Stu. Camera focuses on a man behind Stu watching him. A man wearing all black but has a face mask and breathing heavily is watching Stu. After a while, Stu gets up and leaves with a mad face. After a few seconds, the mysterious man gets up and walks behind Stu, following him. This was originally, that wasn't even supposed to be McDonald's. That was supposed to be at Shake Shack, and our plan was it to be like at 7 or 6 in the afternoon. This was like when it was still a little bit of dark outside. It was supposed to be a little dark outside by this time. And then he would walk out. Stu stops and feels like he's being watched. Stu turns around and says, hello? Is there anyone there? Damn, I think I'm going crazy or something. Stu starts walking again, and the man pops in front of Stu, and then attempts to stab Stu, but then gets punched by Stu in the killer's stomach. The attempt to run, but then gets grabbed by his jacket and starts to get choked by the killer. Stu, let go of me, you freak. We did do that scene. I think we could have done a little better. Stu kicks the killer on his knee, causing the killer to fall. Stu gets up and starts to run. Killer starts to run, but is limping. Stu would have said, this dude is nuts. I need to call the police or someone. Stu reaches into his pockets to get his phone, but then realizes he dropped it. Stu looks back to see the killer waving Stu's phone. Killer breaks the phone with a rock until destroying it. We did do that scene. Shout out to Stu's actor. He gave us his phone case and he allowed us to like throw it. And he still has that phone case to this day. Killer starts running after Stu. Stu starts running, going into an alley, running into his house. Stu attempts to close the door but fails since the killer kicks the door, opening it, running after Stu. Stu runs to the kitchen and gets a pan, hitting the killer in the face, causing the mask to fall and the killer to fall, and Stu punches the killer several times before getting kneed in the stomach and falling. Bro, shout out to the actor, bro. To the actor of the killer. He literally allowed us to kind of hit him. I filmed 2 angles, but I only used one because in the other angle you could notice it didn't actually hit him. But bro, he said, look, just hit me. And we did softly. He did, Stu's actor hit him softly. Then he fell to the ground. Stu runs out of the house, going down the stairs. The camera shifts to the killer on his knees, putting his mask back on, and picking up a metal rod, which we changed for a stick because the teacher wasn't happy. Going down the stairs, walking to another set of stairs, while the camera softly drifts to face Stu's hiding spot. Stu attempts to leave his hiding spot silently, but fails, after accidentally dropping the metal trash can. Stu starts running, while the killer starts to chase Stu. Stu notices that the killer is hurt, and is slowing down, but still has enough energy to run, so Stu decides to fight him. Stu launches at the killer with the brick, hitting the killer in the ribs. Like I said, teacher wasn't very happy with this, so we had to change a lot of the movie, like a lot of it. Stu stops hitting the killer, causing the killer to get an advantage at punching Stu in the face, causing Stu to fall and hit his head on the brick. After he gets hit in the face with the brick, the scene was supposed to go dark, and we were actually supposed to go to a park. But we just went to another alleyway. Screen goes black with voices in the background. Stu slightly opens his eyes to reveal the killer doing a ritual to something. The killer was supposed to say, I thank you for this soul, which I will sacrifice for you and you only. Stu notices that the killer has his mask off, sitting next to him on the ground. Stu says, "I gotta get out of here." Stu starts looking around to see if he can find a hiding spot. When he finds a chair, he starts to crawl towards it. The killer suddenly stops talking, looks behind his shoulder, camera hiding his face, and noticing that Stu is gone. The killer starts to punch the ground with anger. He puts his mask back on and picks up a sharp stick and starts to look for Stu, but it gets knocked down, causing him to drop the stick. Camera moves to the killer's reaction. Camera doesn't show the stabbing, obviously. Stu attempts to stab the killer in the face, but then the killer puts his hand on the sharp stick's way. The camera shows the blade went through the killer's left hand. So we were supposed to do this, and what can I use as a reference? We use this fork. So I was gonna do a little of like a trick. So I was just gonna do this, so it wouldn't even like show. It would just be like that, you know. Which in reality, I'm just doing this to that, so it just gives it like a little bit of like a delusion, of an illusion. And then Stu was supposed to say, "Die already!" The killer grabs Stu's hand and breaks the wrist by twisting his hand on the opposite direction from his arm. Killer punches Stu out of the way and gets the knife out of his hands. That's when Stu was supposed to yell, "Help! Somebody help me!" The killer starts to run and is limping to the process. Change camera view slowly. Killer catches up to Stu and launches to hit Stu on his leg, causing him to fall. The killer stomps on Stu's foot repeatedly. The killer stops stomping on Stu's foot and looks at Stu. "Stu, stop!" with tears in his eyes. "Why are you doing this?" The killer drags Stu to the shade of the building and puts his foot on Stu's chest. "You don't know who I am, and I don't know who you are. But all I know is that you have something that I don't." Stu, breathing heavily. "What the heck are you talking about?" The killer gets closer to Stu's face. "A life." Cringy writing. The killer rises the stick up and then gets hit in the no-no spot. He drops the knife next to Stu. Stu picks the stick up and throws it away. Stu starts to punch the killer in the face until the killer yells, "Stop!" The killer turns to his left and whispers something to Stu. Killer says, "Nobody's a villain in their own story. Good thing this isn't your story." Stu picks up the knife and throws it. After a while, Stu starts to... That's dumb. Stu picks up the knife and throws it. After a while, Stu starts to walk and keeps looking back for safety, and starts talking to himself while the camera is facing him in one shot. Stu is supposed to say, and like breathing heavily, "If you pull off some Ghostface stuff, I'ma lose it. Also, I don't have a life. I was trying to, but you attempted to take it away. Well, look at you. DEAD. Do you know what that spells? Dead. You know what they say. Karma's a boop. You freak." And then it's supposed to full on circle to Stu walking up to the alley, sits down, and dies. Like I said, this movie is a whole different thing. My original vision to the school cut. Let's call it that, you know? Silence. The school cut. Now that this marks a 1-year anniversary, I'm here to announce also that I'm going to be remaking the movie to my standards, right? To something that I wanted the movie to be. I wanted this movie to be like a Scream movie, to be graphic, to be very well directed. I wasn't a good director at all. I wasn't at all. Like, I just told the actors, "Look, read the script, you see what it says, say that, but then act however you want." And that was like a big mistake of mine, you know. I was a bad director, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a pretty bad director. So I'm still seeing if I could get the original cast back, because like I said, we're graduating. Like, in a few days I'll be graduating, and like I said, this is very important to me, and I want to do this not before I graduate, but now that I have time in the summer, I want to actually film this. And if I can't get the old crew back, plot twist, I was already filming the original version of this movie. I was buying the equipment, I was buying the makeup, I was contacting with one of my old friends, Millie, and she was gonna be the makeup artist. She was supposed to be the best friend, and my other friend, Ed 2 Raw, he was supposed to be the killer, and I was supposed to be the victim. But like I said, I completely forgot about the project. Work got in the way, and then school started, which I just ran out of time. So after that, I just gave up on the project. I was like, you know what, screw this, I'm not doing this. And then when the teacher gave us an opportunity to do it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use this. And I did it. Didn't turn out how I wanted to, so I'm gonna rewrite the script, and it's actually gonna be rated PG-13, not to a point where like there's gonna be some specks of that red liquid on the screen, on the wall. I'm gonna see if I could rent or I could see if I could like sneak into like an abandoned building or something like that and film a scene there, which was supposed to be the ritual scene. But yeah, I'm gonna be shooting everything. Hopefully I have this done by next year, before I start school or before I start college. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. Check out the movie if you want to. Like I said, I'm just like talking over it. But yeah, check the movie if you want to. It's gonna be right here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, it's gonna be right here. And if you want to see any other of my videos, or my most recent video reacting to The Spider, a fan film short, right here. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and peace out. I'm a horrible director.